can't see this right now, but it's so cute. Aren't you so cute? You're the cutest. Yes. Anyways, hi. Alright, g'day folks, I'm Wren, they, them. And have you ever had books that you keep thinking about unhauling and then don't? Because I sure do. Alright, so I am planning a huge reorganization and unhaul of my shelves. I have had these shelves up and organized as they are. You okay there? You're pushing me. Yes, you are. You are. So I've had these shelves as they are for 5 months. I've had them for 5 months and like I'm just not loving them anymore. Just the way they are, and like living in the space now, I'm definitely finding more things around my home that I'm like, it doesn't work now that I'm living here, you know? So when I originally put all these shelves up and organized them the way I did, I was like, oh, I can film from there and there and there and there and there and there. But then as I've been living here, I only really film from the corner over there. I'm switching it up to this corner for today, but usually it's over there. And things like my favorite books are spread everywhere and they're not like made a feature at all. So I need to reorganize things, make more of my favorites prominent, and I don't know, they're not the vibe anymore, let's put it that way. I'm still going to be organizing by genre. That's my favorite way to organize my books. We need a rejig. So I was going through some of my books the other day. I was just looking at them and I'm like, I could probably unhaul you. And then I was like, okay, I'll just do a video on that. But then I was looking at some other books, and these are books that have survived 5 unhauls, but they're always on the chopping block on every single unhaul. And yet they survive every single time. I would love to know why, in all honesty. And they're always like, yeah, they sound kind of cool and I would like to read them, but I've owned them for 3+ years and still haven't read it and don't plan to anytime soon. So I'm going to tell you about the books and you can help me decide if I should just let them go or if I should actually try them. Let me know. First up is this box set I have of the Black Dagger Brotherhood series by, what's your name? J.R. Ward. So I know Dark Lover is the first one. I don't know if the rest of these are in order, but Dark Lover is the first one. I do desperately want to read this series, or at least give it a go, because it seems like a classic vampire story, and it is pretty well beloved within the paranormal romance scene. So it would be cool to read. I have heard really good things about it, and yet I have owned it for a really long time and still haven't read it. And I know some people would find that tacky, like that cover. I love it. There's just something truly vampire romance about it. Oh my god, this dedication is lovely. Dedicated to you, with awe and love. Thank you for coming and finding me, and for showing me the way. It was a ride of a lifetime, the best I've ever had. That's so sweet. The only purebred vampire left on the planet, Wrath, has a score to settle with the Slayers who murdered his parents a century ago. I didn't know there were Slayers in this, that's kind of cool. But when one of his most trusted fighters is killed, orphaning a half-breed daughter unaware of her heritage or her fate, Wrath must usher the beautiful female into the world of the undead. Okay. Raked by a restlessness in her body that wasn't there before, Beth Randall is helpless against a dangerously sexy man who comes to her at night with shadows in his eyes. His tales of brotherhood and blood frighten her, but his touch ignites a dawning hunger that threatens to consume them both. Like, I think it would be a fun time, but I never have any kind of real desire to pick this up. I bet you if this was an audiobook, I'd pick it up really quick, but it's not. So I don't, you know? Anyways, that's the first one along with the other 5. And then the next one is Gold of the Gods by Bear Grylls. This is a middle grade survivalist book. I've heard good things. I love survival books, and you know, I was raised on Hatchet. You know, Hatchet's just so good. And apparently this is better. Like, it could be a really fun time, and it's really quick. Like, I could get through it. The writing's really big. It could be super fun. And yet, there's always a and yet, because I still haven't done it. So Beck Granger is facing certain death. He's lost in the Colombian jungle with no GPS, no food, and no help but for two friends, with only a tattered map and a strange amulet guiding their way. But he has survival skills, and if anyone can keep them alive, Beck can. He knows how to navigate any environment, but even he can't anticipate every danger. Hot on the trail of his kidnapped uncle, Beck must race against time and the elements. So it sounds like it could be super, super fun. I still haven't read it, and I've owned it for several years, and every time I go to do an unhaul, I'm like, I should probably let that go, and then I put it back. Should I read it? Should I not? Let me know. Next up, you can't even tell what this is, but it is the Decameron Project by a whole bunch of authors. So this is a collection of short stories. Yeah, 29 new stories from the pandemic. So, who have we got? Victor LaValle, Mona Awad, Rivers Solomon. So I know a few of the authors, but not many, and there's a lot. So obviously there's 29. And the idea of it being written during the pandemic, that intrigues me. So that's why I keep it on the shelf. But I'm not the biggest short story collection reader. And if this wasn't written during the pandemic, I wouldn't care. Because that's all I know about it, is it was written during the pandemic. I don't know what any of the story is about. I know literally nothing. I should probably let this one go, right? Probably. Yeah? Next is Robopocalypse. Robopocalypse by Daniel H. Wilson. This is a sci-fi horror-esque book that I've heard really good things about. It seems really interesting. Again, I've owned it for years and never actually gone to pick it up. But it's very much giving iRobot vibes, just because it's a robot and there's an apocalyptic type thing. They are in your house, they are in your car, they are in the skies. Now they are coming for you. In the near future, a massively powerful artificial intelligence called Arcos is created and cannot be contained. In those early months, only a handful of technological glitches are noticed by humans. As Arcos starts to take over our cars, aircraft guidance systems, military robots, and computer networks, enslaving the entire global system that runs our lives. Then comes 0 Hour. The robot war suddenly ignites, and as all the dazzling technology that runs our world turns against us, the human race is both decimated and, for the first time in history, united. In the devastation that follows, humankind must destroy its own civilization to survive. We will not be exterminated. It sounds like it could be really fun. The writing is really tiny though. That's mildly terrifying. I don't know. You know, if anyone's read this, let me know. Was it really good? Should I give it a go? Or should I just let it go? Next up, we have 2 books in a series. I don't know if it's just a duology or if there are more. But the first one is Mortlock by John Mayhew, and the next is The Demon Collector. Now, don't these just look fun, right? I think they're middle grade, maybe YA, not sure. And they're paranormal. This one has sprayed edges, which is always fun. They look like a good time, but again, no desire to pick them up anytime soon. Josie is a knife thrower in a magician's stage act. Alfie is an undertaker's assistant. That bit intrigues me. Not the magician's thing, but the undertaker thing. They are both orphans and they have never met, but they are about to be given a clue to the secret of their shared past. A past which has come to seek them out. And while they flee for their lives, they must unravel the burning mysteries surrounding the legacy that threatens to consume them. See, that's not super intriguing, but they keep surviving Ooh, the next one, there's an expedition to the Arctic Circle. That sounds way more interesting. Don't know. Has anyone read these? I've never heard anyone talk about them. I just found them at an op shop one day. But I'm just still trying to figure out if I would enjoy them or not. Or, you know, are they worth giving a shot? I don't know. But it's like they could be a good time, but I'm not sure. And then we have The Dead Father's Club by Matt Haig. I don't know why I keep not wanting to read this. It seems like it would be my vibe. And I have read a Matt Haig before and I enjoyed it. So I could enjoy this. When 11-year-old Philip Noble is confronted by the ghost of his recently deceased father and asked to avenge his death, the boy finds himself in a thorny dilemma. Revenge, after all, is a tricky business, especially when Philip is distracted by a girlfriend, school bullies, self-doubt, and all the other challenges of adolescence. Even worse, Philip's father's ghost insists that his murderer is his brother, Uncle Alan. The same Uncle Alan who seems to be doing so much for Philip's mother while she copes with her loss. Viewing the adult world through the eyes of a boy, The Dead Father's Club is a brilliant, quirky take on a classic tale. Like, it sounds like it could be good, but every time I go to Unhaul books, I pull this one off the shelf. So I don't know, something about it just must not be super appealing to me. I don't know. But like, it's just 320-ish pages. So it seems to be written interestingly. Like, I think it could be good. But then why do I keep pulling it off the shelf every time I have an Unhaul? Then we have Maybe a Fox by Kathy Appelt and Alison McGee. This is again one I found at an op shop and it seemed really interesting. And seems like my vibe. But again, every time I go for an Unhaul, I choose this one. I feel like I am intrigued to read it. It's a really strange concept to me, my brain. Jules adores her older sister. Then into thin air, Sylvie goes missing. As Jules stumbles into grief, a fox cub is born. A shadow fox, spirit and animal in one. The fox hears Jules crying out for her sister, and the air prickles with something unsettled. As the dark unknown grows, the fates of the girl and the fox cub are about to collide. A touching and powerful contemporary story of sisterly love and grief with a twist of magical realism. This sounds great. It sounds like it's going to destroy me as someone who has lost their sister. This is going to hit hard, but I like being emotionally destroyed by books. So like, I think it could be cool. But if I think that, then why do I keep thinking I'll unhaul it? Make it make sense. Then I have Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. This is a classic, like, sci-fi-esque story. Everyone seems to love it because it's written, like, purely in interview format. So, like, that could be interesting. Oh, it's not purely interview. There's, like, case files and stuff. So it's, like, kind of mixed media stuff. Like, it could be cool. I've heard amazing things, but I'm never reaching for it. And every Unhaul, I'm like, realistically, Wren, are you going to read that? Probably not. Let's get rid of it. But then I'm like, oh, but it sounds interesting, so I pull it back. As a young girl, Dr. Rose Franklin made a life-changing discovery. Hidden deep underground, she found an enormous, ornate metal hand. Tests prove the artifact predates all human civilization. Dr. Franklin leads the top-secret investigation into the mystery of its origin, but finding answers leads her to an awe-inspiring question. Ooh, were we meant to find it? Dun, dun, dun. When it emerges that there may be more pieces buried out there, a fierce race begins to solve this vast global puzzle. So yeah, it sounds interesting. Am I gonna read it? Who knows? Maybe the point of me doing this video is just to get everyone to bully me to read my books. Who knows? Then we have All That's Left in the World by Eric J. Brown. This is a queer YA novel, and I always struggle getting rid of queer books because I'm obsessed with queer books. But if you watched my buzzword video recently, I talked about how apocalypse stuff is not my jam. And that's what this is. This is about an apocalypse. Or like the aftermath of it or something. There are parts of this that could be really interesting, but as soon as like anything to do with an apocalypse gets vaguely mentioned, my interest just plummets. I don't know why, but it does. But like, I do want to give this a go because I know some people have read it recently and they've really liked it. And the sequel just came out. Could be good, but apocalypse, you know? After a catastrophic event wipes out most of the population, Jamie finds himself alone in a cabin in the woods. He's learned to fear other desperate survivors, but when he meets the injured Andrew, Jamie is compelled to help. As they step out into this strange new world together, their friendship begins to feel like something more. Jamie and Andrew are hoping for safety, for shelter, for community, but ahead of them is a perilous journey through a world torn apart. I don't know. I really don't know. That didn't make me desperately want to read it. I don't know, like it could be good, so I keep it. Help. Next up is Dark Mode by Ashley Callaghan Blunt. I bought this like, I don't know, last year, the year before, something like that. I just remember I went to Big W, I bought like 5 or 6 books new, and I was like, ooh, awesome, love this. I have unhauled most of those books without reading them. I think I've got one left on my shelf, and then like this is the last one, but all the others I've like gotten rid of. Whoopsie doopsies. Like again, there's a part of me that's like, this could be really interesting, but you know, for years, Reagan Carson has kept her life offline. No internet presence, no photos, safe. Until the day she stumbles on a shocking murder in a Sydney laneway. The victim looks just like her. As more murders shake the city and she's increasingly drawn out from hiding, Reagan is forced to confront her greatest fear. She's been found. Riveting psychological thriller drawn from true events, Dark Mode delves into this terrifying reality of the dark web and the price we pay for surrendering our privacy one click at a time. Like, it sounds like it could be super freaking cool. I think it would be a fun time. I think it would scare me because internet stuff does kind of terrify me. But I still haven't picked it up and my eyes skim over it every time I'm looking at my thriller section. Again, maybe I just need someone to force me to read this because like I feel like it could be good, and I do really like the cover. It's just, it's got really nice like color palette and it's just pretty, but just because it's pretty doesn't mean I should read it. You know, I don't know. Help me out with this one. Should I read it or should I just let it go? Then we have The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. Every single unhaul, this is one of the first books I pull off. And then as I go through the pile of books I'm gonna unhaul, this is the first one that I pick back up every single time. This cover is stunning. I love this cover. But it's also like witches or something, and I keep saying I want to get back into witches, but I don't pick it up. So that's unfortunate. The Swan sisters arrived in Sparrow, Oregon in 1822. Marguerite, the oldest, had long auburn locks, full lips, and a sharp jaw. Aurora, the middle sister, boasted soft waves of hair and bright full moon eyes. And Hazel, the youngest, was the plainest of the three, with smaller features and hair that twisted into a tumbling braid. Each was beautiful, and each was misunderstood. A year later, the townspeople executed the Swan sisters for crimes of witchcraft, placing a curse on the small town of Sparrow, a curse that has never been broken. Until now, perhaps. I just love the, like, dramatics of synopses sometimes. It's so funny. So it sounds like typical YA drama-ness, but like this cover. And then the last one, this is again one of the first books I pull off if I'm gonna do an unhaul, and it's always one of the first, or it's the very last that I'm like, ooh, just pull it back, put it back on your shelf, you know? And that is We Contain Multitudes by Sarah Henstra. This is a queer YA novel, and it's about like becoming pen pals or something. And I don't know, the cover makes me think this is gonna be like sad gays or like angsty gays, which this kind of angst I'm cool with. Less so this, at least from what I am perceiving the angsts to be, you know? But I don't know, just something just seems sad about this, and that intrigues me. And I don't know, like writing letters to each other, that could also be super cute. Is it told only in letters? Ooh, it might only be in letters. That is kind of cool, so that could go quickly. Maybe, or it could get old really fast. Who knows? When Walt Whitman fan Jonathan Hopkirk and football player Adam Kurlansky are partnered in a weekly pen pal assignment, they don't expect to get much out of it. With each letter, however, the two are led deeper into a friendship that eventually grows into love. But faced with homophobia, bullying, and devastating family secrets, Jonathan and Curl must struggle to hold onto their relationship and each other. This gripping, gorgeously written novel celebrates love and life with engaging characters and stunning language, making it perfect for fans of Jandy Nelson, Nina LaCour, and David Levithan. I like Nina LaCour and David Levithan. I've never read a Jandy Nelson. So this does sound very interesting, and it is kind of giving me some high school Destiel fics I used to read, so I could really like that. But again, I've owned this for so many years. I think we're nearing on 5 years I've owned this, and it's still here. So again, maybe I just need someone to kick me in the butt to make me read this, because this does definitely sound like I could enjoy it. But again, maybe I won't. Who knows? Alright, so that is the list of books that I keep almost unhauling every single unhaul. So if any of these seem really intriguing, or if you've read them and loved them, or if you want me to just give them a go and tell you what I think about them, please let me know down below, because I desperately need some help in this little predicament that I'm in. But that's going to be it for today, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!